how are you?
Hey, I'm great.
Talking small press comics again with Steve Keeter and myself, Larned Justin. Another episode here.
Yeah,
And we
had
have an
an
episode every time we get some
episode for the
comics.
last
So
hour.
we put an episode up. So let's take a look and see what we got today. And the first one up is Hologram.
Hologram.
Yeah.
Hologram. Yeah, this is from Tom Fellrath.
Yeah, this is from Tom Fellrath.
Yeah, he's an old friend of mine from way back in the old days. The olden oldie days of the UFO. I got to remember to look at the camera. The camera's up here.
Well, the thing about this is this is a mini. In case anybody doesn't know, this is what's called a mini. And these are just a standard sheet of paper cut in half. And then you staple as many pages as you want together. This one has 8 pages because it's two sheets stapled together. So it's a little mini.
Yeah.
And this one is called Counting the Days. And it's chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Poetry.
Yeah. A couple of things. Number one, I've never made a mini comic. I've been, 50 years in small press. I've never done a mini comic.
Oh my gosh!
I think I'm late to the ball game,
Yeah. They fit in a regular little envelope.
I've done digests. Yeah.
And they're mostly like this one has no price. So they're mostly kind of for trading and things like that.
This is an utterly priceless publication, folks.
It's priceless.
You need to get this.
That's absolutely right.
But Tom Fellrath has been out of small press. He's been out of small press for like 25 years, something like that, a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And and I recently came across him on Facebook and started talking to him. He started getting interested in small press again, but he used to do a lot of stuff. And he's an old member of the UFO from way back, like back in the 80s and stuff. But I kind of twisted his arm a little bit. He said, ouch. And I said, well, you've got to start making comics again. That's sort of what happened.
There it is.
And here it is, his first one. This is actually the first of 12 monthly issues. And at the end of that, this is only the beginning. He's going to compile all 12 stories into one comic, and that'll be published as a UFO title, his first new UFO, the United Fanzine Organization. You guys must know about that by now. You've heard me talk about it. And, and so I'm the chairman, I've been the chairman, off and on for 48 years. But, Tom's going to put them all together.
Anyway, I want to
a
little bit about this without giving it too much away. The interesting thing is it counts the days. So it starts July 1st, 1988, which is 12,236 days ago.
Yeah.
And what happens here?
A different day.
Yeah, and right in the first page, I'll just tell you this: a device explodes. I become transparent. He becomes a hologram.
Yeah, and he's able to change size too. Here he is on top of a one-celled beast. Somebody's looking through a microscope.
So small that he can ride what he calls a tardigrade.
Yeah.
I don't know what a tardigrade is, but he's riding it.
I think that's the one-celled beast.
That must be. But this goes
like a paramecium.
He counts the days down to what he says is today, which is December 31st, 2021. So
and how did he do that? How did he calculate these?
So
many days ago was this this time in the year 1990, October 12th, was exactly 11,403 days ago.
Here's the thing. Who's going to check him on that? Nobody. So you just believe it.
Tom.
Yeah.
He's a mathematical genius.
Yeah.
And this is a great little comic. It's a great little comic. No price. I would send him like $1.50 or something.
We'll have his contact information in the description, so contact him.
Sure.
All right, so next up, we have the opposite, a great big comic book, which is printed on legal size paper. So the paper is, that big. So this is the opposite of the mini. There's a mini, little bitty one.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest one you can probably
For contrast, yeah, you get it? Little and big.
Yes.
This one's big.
This is
by,
big.
Guy
This is like Sesame Street, you know? This is the big one, and this is the little one.
There you go. What just
So,
fell?
anyway,
Something just fell in this room.
before we get too silly, this is Action Hero Adventures,
Yep.
and this is by Guy Sparkman. He wrote it,
Mhm.
but the artist is your friend. Tony Lorenz. Steve has frozen for a moment, so I can tell you that Steve's friend is Tony Lorenz, and he has done some fantastic artwork in this big magazine, this big zine. Some great artwork here.
Yeah.
And it's a science fiction.
Tony is the George Perez of small press. My
Yeah.
internet connection is unstable, so I'm kind of watching that. We had some problems getting to this point for folks.
Yes, we did.
Stayed around for over a half
We've been
hour.
fooling with this for
Zoom
an hour.
was just, yeah.
We're having, and we had a rough time when we tried to do it the first time. This is our second attempt.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a very imaginative story. Anything that Guy Sparkman does, Guy is first and foremost a fan. He's a fan of small press comics and all kinds of comics. And when he does something, he does it out of love for the medium. And this is an exciting comic with a lot of heart and soul in it. It has to deal with a race of really good people on another planet and a race of horrible reptilian monsters.
Yeah.
And the good
Reptilian monster.
guys win. These are the good guys in the hoods. And one of the reptilian monsters, well, they actually put them all in a sort of a jail spaceship, and it crashes out in space. It actually lands on Earth, and everything in the spaceship is destroyed except for one being. And it's a small little reptilian guy. And he's raised by human beings. They say, "Oh, this is like Superman, right? They crash land on Earth, and then nice people raise him. Nice people raise him, but something happens along the way. The evil that is signature for that race becomes apparent, and he starts going a little berserk. In fact, he gets pretty darn berserk by the end of the book. I can tell you that.
So there's a lot of action in this,
and Tony's awesome artwork.
Awesome artwork, good action panels, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And this is $2.75 from Guy Sparkman. Once again, his information will be down below. So you might want to send for that. It's pretty cool. And it is full black and white, but I like that. I like black and white. And anyway, it's great, and it's got gray tone. So it's not fully black and white.
Yeah, Tony, this is some really good artwork by Tony. And Tony is so prolific, man. When I talked to him at MegaCon, he was working on 4 complete comics for 4 different small press publishers. One of the comics is 32 pages long, so he's like really, really busy. So don't ask him to do anything right now.
Yeah.
Give him a chance, to relax, have a cup of coffee or whatever.
I guess he enjoys working, for other people. Drawing their stories, because I see him a lot. I call him the George Perez. He reminds me of George Perez. Not only is he inspired by George Perez, but also he can do something that George also can do, and that is put a lot of characters into one panel, and it doesn't look cluttered. And it's all very dynamic, really nice action art. Yeah. So that's cool. Well, we got one other. Now, do you have your copy of Whatever, Andy?
What? Whatever?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I think so.
Yeah, there it is. And there's my copy.
Yeah.
Just got this today.
From Jim Maine.
From Jim Maine, and this is 56 pages. And I honestly had not had the time to read it. It just came today. But what it is, it's the animation issue, Animation Spotlight, and there is a number of articles all about different animated cartoons and how they were created and the creators and, by a number of different authors.
And it showcases these cells, like this is from Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, there's some
Max
cells.
Fleischer. And
this publication
is in full color.
Yeah, is better than anything you would see on a newsstand. I mean, this thing is professional all the way through.
Yeah, it's a beautiful publication.
Excellent. And the paper that it's from, the paper that it's printed on, and everything.
Glossy paper and cover to cover. It's a real treat.
It is really well done. And one of my favorite things in here, if I can find it quickly, is they're talking about Crusader Rabbit and the animation of Crusader Rabbit, which was the very first TV animated show way back in the 1957.
Yeah, Larned, I lost you for about 30 seconds there.
Well, I said something very important. You probably missed it.
Yeah. And
I said that Crusader Rabbit is the very first TV cartoon there ever was.
Is that
and
right?
This is the story of that.
I missed that part.
Yeah, it's 1957, and the guy that started it was told, well, you'll never be able to do an animated cartoon on TV because there's not enough time in between shows to animate it. And he said, I think we can do it. And he found a way, and this will tell you how they did it. Pretty interesting.
There's another article on the King Kong television cartoon show that I used to watch when I was a kid.
Yep.
In fact, this thing debuted, I believe it was a Friday night. Yeah, it was a Friday night. And I remember, I mean, I was really young, I was probably in first grade or something when this, but they had a special show. Yeah, it was the early 60s. Okay, it was 1966, it says here, 1966. But I was actually watching that night when it first aired. It was a 1-hour special premiere of this cartoon show. It was pretty much a remake of the original King Kong movie. But the difference is that King Kong is friends with this little boy. They become great friends and they go on great adventures. And so I was watching, I was hooked right away. I used to watch this every Sunday. Yeah. Every Saturday when it was on.
One more thing about Crusader Rabbit. It became Rocky and Bullwinkle, which was one of my favorite shows. I watched Rocky and Bullwinkle every week. So interesting. And here's I don't want to give too much away about the book, but there's an article on Nine Mouse.
The voice actor was the same voice actor.
Yep. But
now I'm still having internet problems, and
I see you freezing up every once in a while. But don't pay any attention.
I don't know how this is going to turn out. We'll get
don't pay attention
this fixed by next time, folks. Just watch that guy. That guy. Watch him.
Yeah, I'll take care of you, Steve.
We can just make faces.
All right, so Jim Main, did I mention? I hope we mentioned this is Jim Main. His
Jim Main
information will be
legendary publisher. And he kind of legendary.
I don't know how he does it all. I don't know how he does it all. It's amazing. But I'll have the and I will tell you that this book is $10 postpaid. So, but I'll have his contact information down.
It's worth it. It's worth every penny of it.
Oh, worth it. I mean, it's going to take a little while to read all this. So it's worth it.
Jim just keeps publishing great publications, and he has. I remember back in the early 70s when he was doing a Runny Purple Ditto zines like I did back in those days. But Jim has just grown and grown over years. He's one of the small press. He's really one of the upper echelon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For sure.
He's really great.
His publications
kind of a legend.
You can say small press, but they're very professional.
They're extremely professional. Yeah. It didn't start out that way, Jim. I got an old copy of Posette from way back, but it. You grew.
Did you have Gallery? Did he send you Gallery?
I do have that one. That's the Steve Shipley issue, right?
Yes.
I don't have it with me right now.
Okay, we can look at it at this one.
It's over. I'm moving into a new house, I'm moving into a new house, and I left it over there. I've moved most of my small press stuff is there. But I do know it's a beautiful publication.
Well, that's the thing. It's a gallery, all right.
Legend.
It's all Steve Shipley artwork. And I mean, beautiful.
Gorgeous, cover to cover. I like that Adam West Batman that you're showing off there. That looks. Look at that. I mean, that looks like Adam West.
Now, some of these are digitally colored. Some of these are watercolors. I don't know if there's any acrylics in here, but I know that Steve does all that. He does acrylics. He does.
Yeah, he's a great artist. He's an old friend.
And here's a kind of
and he did work for
watercolory looking. If you look at the tiger, you can see that's watercolor and beautifully done.
Yeah, that looks a little scary.
This is 23 pages of
speaking of
Steve's artwork. Very cool.
Yeah,
this is $5.75 post-paid, full color, well worth it. And like I say, Jim Main is his publications. You can't go wrong. They're
absolutely
excellent. Just excellent. So, anyway, that's those. You're froze. Are you froze or you're just not moving? Okay, you're moving.
I'm moving.
Okay.
We talked about this before. This is something that Larned published back in 2006. 19th Century Detective, The Grey Bridge Terror, starring Lane Brain. And this is a few years ago, but Larned finally sent me a copy. You know, he just figured, I've sent Steve everything. I'm going to send him this too. But
I ought to get some publicity since I published it in 2006 and nobody knew about it. So I figure I'll send it to Steve and he can talk about it.
We have this detective. He's Lane Brain. He's sort of a Sherlock Holmes type figure.
Kind of.
Only he has a problem with insomnia. He can't sleep.
He has
and when he does go to sleep, there's an insane serial killer in a morgue, and that guy, when the detective goes to sleep, he somehow channels Lane Brain. Anyway, the guy in the morgue comes alive and goes out committing murders. And so so like Lane Brain really wants to sleep, but
when he wakes up, he doesn't remember that went on while he wasn't really sleeping, but he has no idea what happened, so he has to figure out who the murderer is.
It's a brilliant
story. Really knows who the murderer is.
One of the few non-comedic things that Larned has done, and look at his artwork. Didn't Tim Corrigan do this?
Tim Corrigan did the inks. I did the pencils and the story. And the inks are beautiful. Well,
the pencils look like they're beautiful too. This is great work.
Yeah.
So, I like the full pages.
Yeah, Tim outdid himself here with the inks.
And I read the first issue. I didn't get to read the second, not yet, but I had a long day at work today.
This is the second issue.
But it looks every bit as exciting.
Same characters, although it features a different character. They're all in it. Lane Brain is in it, but it features his friend John Leesburg. And they're all, Leesburg is a professor at College of Criminology. So Scotland Yard calls on all these people to help them with certain, specific crimes that are different. So that's the idea.
Great cast here.
And
like
this one I did.
More of these.
Huh? Anyway, this one I did both.
I'd like to see more of these.
I'm thinking about another one. Since it's been 2006, it's maybe time for another one. But
it's been a little while.
This one I did all the pencils and the inks and the story.
That's an important.
First issue was 32
pages.
This one is 24 pages. That's 24 pages. But I really enjoyed doing this. I don't know why.
Very cool, very exciting, and very imaginative. Very imaginative. So yeah.
I tell you what.
You do great. You do great work with this funny stuff or serious.
When Steve Corrigan passed away, I lost a lot of interest in small press comics, and I quit doing them for quite a while.
That was Tim Corrigan. He said Steve Corrigan. You heard that right?
Did I say Steve Corrigan?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's because I'm talking to Steve Keeter.
I understand.
Anyway, it's Tim Corrigan, and I considered him a great friend. We attended a lot of comic.
He was a great friend to a lot of us.
Shared our table, sat at the same table, and stuff like that. But anyway, so those are my comics. And those are pretty much the comics we had for this time, unless you got something else, Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to say this really quick.
Okay.
Because we're having technical problems.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to notice this in this. I did do a reprint of On Number One, which is the first fanzine that I ever did that had any real substance, real comic. It was Chuck Robinson. The second did the cover. He was an inspiration to me and really got me going in the small press. I'd done a couple of small press comics before that, but this is when things really took off. And this is the, this was, I was, finally I got some, it was like Steve Shipley was involved with this.
Oh.
And Lee Jackson, Winston Lee Jackson, who's still around.
Hmm.
This was a back cover by Lee Jackson that was in a photocopy. And this is a reprint, so it's an exact reprint of an old ditto zine, and that's that old purple method that teachers used to use to make tests for the students in high school on a hand crank machine. But it's an exact reprint, and this is Steve Shipley's artwork. And then I inked this, but this is back in 1973.
And you told me you were
of Nightman also
13 years old when you did that.
I was
16.
Well, when I was about 16, I think.
16. And I say that I would have never even thought of that at 16. I had no idea you could publish your own comic book.
There's a Manton story. Manton was the first human being. This story, this is drawn by myself, but inked by Chuck Robinson. And Tony Lorenz, speaking of Tony Lorenz, he just recently redrew this story.
Oh.
For one of my zines.
Oh, wow.
What was it? Anyway, one of my zines. Everything's packed away. I can't even find my own stuff. But yeah, and he did a bang-up job on that too. Just for contrast's sake, this is the original copy, and this is the reprint. And you can see how much sharper and clearer it looks.
Yeah, the reprint really looks good. Yeah.
So it's cover reprint, and if you want to order, it's $7. But it costs a bit to produce this rascal.
Wait a minute, say that again.
$7.
$7.
$7 from me, and I do accept PayPal. Just stevekeeter@gmail.com.
Okay. And that'll be down in the description below this video also. So.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right.
Okay.
So we got through this video.
We had a hard time, I will tell you.
I don't know. I've been having problems with my internet here. I've been having some problems with my internet, but it wasn't
maybe
just
when
that.
you move, it'll be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So
well,
I'll be moving
for sure
September.
We won't have a episode next week, but maybe the week after we will. So we will see you.
I might be broadcasting from my new apartment.
That would be cool.
So
you could give us a tour.
There you go.
All right. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, and we will see you next time.
All right. Goodbye.